Hello and welcome to another episode of my Productivity Mastery series, and today we're going to be looking at how to prioritize your day, because I know so many people struggle with the concept of prioritizing and really being able to understand what is important and what is not important. But it's really important that you do have some kind of practical principles or fundamentals that help you to be able to quickly identify what is important and what is not important. Because the reality is most people, I've noticed, are running around with the philosophy that everything is important. Now, the truth is, if everything is important, then nothing is important. And we've got to get that into our heads. Some things are more important than others, and we need to be able to address that. And what I like to do is I like to think of it as that old experiment with rocks, pebbles, sand and water. Well, let's just put water to a side for one moment and let's just focus on the big rocks, the pebbles and the sand. Now, the big rocks are the most important things that you need to do each day. This could be you need to work on a specific project because the deadline is coming up. It could be that you need to do something in your personal life that is incredibly important. For example, going to your kids' school sports day, whatever it is, there are going to be one or two things each day that are incredibly important. Now, I strongly advise people to really limit this down to 2 must-do tasks per day. I've seen people try 3 things. I've seen people try 5 or 6 things. But the problem that you will have is if you have these must-do tasks and you get to a point where you have so many that there's 1 or 2 that you don't do, then the power of having a must-do task just loses it, just goes completely. Having 2 must-do tasks is achievable unless you're being unrealistic about what you actually want to get accomplished with each of those big things. But let's say, for example, that one of my must-do tasks today is to record these videos. So this is a big rock. This has to get put into the glass jar, or the glass bottle in this case, has to get put into the glass bottle first. Now, my next one is, in my case, I have a weekly newsletter that goes out with with some kind of little essay helping people to work to solve a problem that they may have within their productivity or time management system. So that on a Friday when I'm recording this is a no-brainer. It is a must-do. So there's the second big rock. So when I woke up this morning, I was very, very clear, because I do my planning the night before. I was really clear about, okay, once I get started today, set up the studio, get myself recording these videos, and then I need to sit down and write the newsletter and get that out by the end of today. Those are my 2 big things. When I woke up, I was really, really clear on getting those done. But that isn't those are the only things that I have to do today. I have these little pebbles, if you like, that also need to be done today. And these could be, well, I'm going to walk my dog. That's kind of a no-brainer because he will tell me to take him for a walk. I also have to pick my wife up from her studio, and then I have to go to the supermarket with my wife. So there's all these little pebbles that I also need, and these are kind of like the 8 other things. So if you're familiar with my work with the 2+8 prioritization system, well, these pebbles are the 8. These are the things that just need to be done, and I'm going to do my very best to get them done. So, as I say, picking my wife up from the studio and going to the supermarket with her and walking the dog, whilst theoretically they are must-do tasks, I could, if I got caught up in something, ask my wife if she could get a taxi home. We don't necessarily have to go to the supermarket today. We could go tomorrow. So they're not what I would call my big rocks, but they are still important. I'm going to do as much as I can to get them done. So these have to be prioritized and put into the glass jar today, or the glass bottle. And then we have everything else. This is the sand. These are the little grains of sand. These are the phone calls to clients. These are the returning of phone calls to your boss. These could be the emails that you need to respond to. Now, the problem I see most people have is they turn these little things into big rocks, and then they panic because they can't find the time to get it done in the day. What I find is I would have structure in my day, so I do my communications later in the day, but with these little bits of sand, like a quick phone call to your boss, a quick phone call to a colleague, or sending an email to a client or a customer, all these little things that are following up something that you're waiting for, which people seem to be doing a lot of, then these are what I call, these are the grains of sand. And what I do is I would fit those in between these sessions of work. So for instance, when I go to pick my wife up, my wife is not very good with timekeeping. So she say, pick me up at 3 o'clock. I will be there at round about 2:58, and she won't probably come to the car until 3:15. I know my wife. So that gives me 15 minutes. Now I could just sit in the car and look at the world pass by, which is something that could be worthwhile. But I'm in the middle of a town and I'm sitting in a car park. There isn't very much to look at. So I'm just going to pull out my phone and I'm just going to start responding to emails or doing some of those little sand type tasks that need to be done. Let's just get them done. It's what Tony Robbins calls no extra time, NET. And what it basically means is if I'm standing in a long queue somewhere, I can, standing in a long line or a long queue, I can do email, I can respond to email, I can process my inbox. There's all these little things. So what I generally do is all these less important but still need to be done type tasks, I'm putting in between sessions of work. So if I'm going to sit down and record these videos, then sure, there's not much I can do. I can't really respond to email at the same time. But once I finish these and I'm waiting for stuff to upload onto my computer so I can edit, then sure, I'm going to be doing some email. I'm going to be making some of those calls that I need to make. I will use that time. I'm just going to sit there and do nothing. That's for the sand time. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about the day. Your day is this glass bottle. And before you start the day, you need to make a commitment to yourself to the 2 big things that must be done today. These are your non-negotiables. You cannot negotiate with them. You must find the time to do them. They get put into your bottle first. Then the pebbles. These are the things that you just want to get done. It wouldn't be the end of the world if you didn't do them, but you're going to do your very best to get them done. The great thing about starting with those big rocks is that you get the momentum going. You start the day productively, and there's a damn good chance that you are going to continue to do the day productively. So get those in on top of the big rocks. And for all those little inconvenient things that can become crises if you don't deal with them, these grains of sand, get them done in between these sessions of work. And as you can see on the bottle, these little bits of sand are just peppered around the other stuff that I'm doing in the day. But when you think of your day like that, that way you're going to find that you're getting the right things done day after day after day. If you don't have a plan for the day, if you don't have a plan for the week, you are going to get pulled off track and spend most of your time doing all the low value stuff that you think is important just because it's loud and somebody's shouting at you or bothering you, but it isn't really important in terms of the long-term stuff that you need to do. Sure, I could have spent this morning, instead of recording these videos, dealing with all the email that I got this morning. But, that's not important. The important stuff is doing this video while the sun is shining through the window. That way I've got better lighting to record these videos. I can sit down and do that email later in the day. There's no need to do it now. I don't want to let my brain convince me that dealing with the email right now has to be done, because that means other more important stuff is not getting done. So I hope that's helped you to clarify how you should be prioritizing your day. And it's really important that you do plan the day ahead, because if you don't plan the day, then you are going to find yourself on somebody else's plan, and that is just going to take you further and further away from where you really want to be. And if you want to learn more about planning, then I have just launched a brand new planning mini course, which you can get further details of in the show notes below. That's up to you. You can take that course. It would really help you to be able to find the best way to do your planning. Well, thank you so much for watching this video, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Hello, thank you very much for watching my videos. Now I have something exciting to tell you about. Recently I have developed a brand new time management system. It's a system designed to manage your time in the 21st century. The world has changed a lot over the last 20 years. In fact, it's actually changed a lot this year. And what we need now is a system, a time management system that is very easy to use, easy to maintain, so that you can spend more of your time doing the work. And that's what the time sector system is all about. It's going to change your whole belief system about the way a time management system should work, because this focuses on when you are going to do the task. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how motivated, inspired, or how urgent something is. If you don't have time to do it, it is never going to get done. And that's what this system is built around, getting your work done, so you can spend more of your time doing the things that you want to do. I hope you join me in this course. The full details of the course are in the show notes below, so please join me, and thank you very much for watching this brief video.